Hello, and welcome to bonus episode 22 of the Book Wars Pod. I'm Chris, and you may be confused because this is the middle of an episode. We split our initial reactions to Rise of Skywalker into two different bonus episodes. So if you listened to bonus ep 21, that covered what we thought about some of the characterizations in the movie. And now we're going to get into some of the plot and pacing and then some other things. We hope that you will listen to this episode. We do want to warn you, though, that this one, much like bonus episode 21, is our unfiltered reactions and many criticisms of the film. If you enjoyed the film and you don't want to listen to people talk negatively about it, thoroughly invite you to skip this episode and skip over to bonus episode 23, which will be dropping on Friday and talking about in-universe where we want to go from here. Thank you for listening, and now please enjoy bonus episode 22.
So, those are most of our big things, I feel like, honestly. Like, it was a lot of problems with characterization. But let's talk about the plot and the pacing just a wee bit, because we've already talked about how it would appear that JJ did not do his homework, and no one checked him, because I don't know. I don't know why the story group didn't check him. I have no idea. I don't really, they talk up so much, like, when the story group was founded, and even since then, how they really want this all to be cohesive and all of it to make sense and fit with each other and everything. And they made such a big deal out of it. They made such a big deal out of it that they made a whole swath of, like, I don't know, 30 odd years of books not canon anymore and pissed off, like, a significant portion of the fandom. So what the hell happened here?
If the plot was going to be this boring for episode 9, you should have just made movies of the Thrawn trilogy. And I say that as somebody who doesn't particularly like the Thrawn trilogy and also thinks that the concept of making movies out of books for the sake of making movies out of books is lazy.
Spicy.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, Miranda, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to quickly touch on this. We have spent most of this episode so far talking about how, like, a lot of the creative choices that were made in this movie go directly against what has already been established, particularly in this trilogy. And I don't even know what to say. Like, how?
This movie doesn't feel like a sequel to Last Jedi.
No.
And it doesn't feel like a sequel to Force Awakens.
It's just an action movie.
It feels like a movie that is incidentally a Star Wars.
Yes.
It feels like this, like, it feels like a sequel to Return of the Jedi, but that's not what it should have been.
No. Like, fucking bizarre choices.
Like, JJ spoke at length leading up to the release of this film about the challenge of not just making the final movie in this trilogy, but the final movie in the trilogy of trilogies, and how to wrap all that up. Mm-hmm. And it's so interesting to me that he spoke so in depth about that, because that is so not what this movie feels like to me.
Because this was a dumpster fire.
Yeah, I mean, I think in some ways, like, when I walked out the first one, I was like, okay, like, I see how they tried to, like, put a nice bow on Star Wars. Like,
on the trash bag, yes.
Let's reintroduce all of these characters that you know and love. It's Han Solo. Like, he's a fucking weird-ass vision. Like, everybody's good. We love the Jedi and all of this. And so I guess it accomplished that goal. It didn't do well in doing that, but it felt like a bow on the series.
I mean, honestly, it didn't even to me, though, because now that Rey's a Skywalker, how is it the end of the Skywalker saga?
Yeah, I know. That was exactly my fucking reaction. I was just like, but it's okay.
They're leaving the door open to another trilogy in 15 years.
I know, which is just
like, and that's again to the unearned. How I felt Rey Skywalker was unearned. You returned Luke Skywalker and Anakin Skywalker to a planet that they both despised with every fiber of their being.
oh my god, I
And
laughed so
Leia's-
hard.
And Leia's to a planet she's never been to.
Have you guys seen? I'm sorry, I don't know again who put this together, but it was going around Twitter a while back, and it was her, like, Rey putting the lightsabers into the ground on Tatooine, and just like shots of Anakin's shitty faces in the prequel trilogy.
That sounds like a fucking treasure.
Just like
Bless
all of his
you.
little faces, like of just his lightsaber being back on Tatooine.
Oh
His
my
least
god.
favorite place in the galaxy.
I know.
So much so that he will just ignore the fact that this guy has the same last name as him and is from the same planet as him.
Oh my god. It's just so much. Jesus. Yeah, I don't really have a lot of thoughts about this being the end of the trilogy, honestly, because they're just gonna fucking reboot it in 5 seconds.
Yeah, as somebody who really was against the entire concept of an episode 10, do I care about it more now because this was a shitty ending?
Please help.
And now, for plot reasons, let's talk about Palpatine.
Palpatine folks.
Yeah, so that's fucking weird. Sorry, our dog is coughing. He's literally fine, but
bug.
he's coughing a little. Yeah, what?
And
So, I don't even... I'm mixed on this because I think the concept of Rey Palpatine is stupid. I don't think the concept of Palpatine returning is stupid. That actually didn't bother me and got me very hyped when we first heard his laugh in the original teaser at Celebration. Because I thought it would, we would learn so much more about his ultimate plan.
Jokes.
And we didn't, which again, I'm a moviegoer that likes to know what's going on. I realize not everybody is like that, and I don't say that with derision. Like, people watch films in different ways, people take in art in different ways. That's fine.
He's saying he's cuckoo bananas and he shouldn't be like him.
Yes, exactly. But not only did we not get any actual information about Palpatine, but we also didn't get any information about how Rey is his granddaughter.
I have a lot of questions about the timeline.
Yeah.
Like, so her parents look also my personal favorite part of the movie. Rey's mom is Jodie Comer, and I am very gay and very excited about that. But, like, they look young in those flashbacks.
Yeah, maybe 30. Maybe.
If that. And, like, that, it feels like that would have been a plot point if, Palpatine had a baby or a wife in the prequels.
And, well, and, like, not even in the prequels, because Rey is 20 by Rise of Skywalker, because it's only a year after Last Jedi.
Yeah.
So Rey's 20, which means that she was born 10 years after the original trilogy, roughly. 10 years after Endor, roughly. Taking that, in the scenes that we see where her parents look 30, maybe, Rey is 5, generously. So that means her parents were 25 when they had her. So that means that her parents were born during the Empire, and we don't know anything about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
Or her
just
dad, I guess, specifically. Her mom could be anyone.
full on pulled. They just full on pulled a J.K. Rowling here, and who was like, Voldemort had sex at this random fucking time, and they just ran with that. And I was like, is this real life? Like, is this happening to me?
Oh, is that in that play thing?
Yeah,
Oh,
the
I
cursed
did not
child.
read that. Okay.
Yeah,
I read the Wikipedia article and came away being like, how is this real?
it was bad. Yeah, full on. That is kind of just precisely what happened here, and I just
Yeah.
I kind of have no words for this, honestly, because it's just so stupid. I want to die.
And like any leaps that you could make to a logical conclusion, I imagine would all be very bad and problematic.
Yes.
And, like,
Yeah.
he obviously had some kind of relationship with his son. Like, enough to, like, know that his son realizes he's a terrible fucking person and he and his wife are willing to sell their daughter to a junker on some planet in the middle of fucking nowhere to protect her from him.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I just, again, it's questions among questions, and I don't have a good time with that.
So I should have talked about this during the Rey characterization part of this rant, but I went into this movie loving Rey, thinking Rey was such a refreshing take on Star Wars and on who can be a hero in mythical journeys, and like kind of like simultaneously Joseph Campbell and also a repudiation of him, because she is nobody. Rey nobody was all of us, like Kay said.
Hey, Chris.
That person said.
Quick question.
Coming out of this movie,
Wait, what?
Quick question. Is Joseph Campbell the hero's journey guy?
yes.
Okay, thank you.
Coming out of this movie, I don't care about Rey at all. I don't care what her next adventures are. And again, if you do, great. I hope that you love Rey and that she provides you inspiration for the rest of your life. I truly do. And I also recognize that Rey's not for me, and that's also fine. But just me as a reader of this story, not like, not some like metaphorical, like philosophical difference, but I just don't care about Rey anymore. Her being a Palpatine is boring to me. It's really boring. It's the Force saying there's only two families in the galaxy that matter.
Mm-hmm.
Boring is exactly what you want when you create a piece of media, by the way.
Yeah.
So that's like, I don't mind that Palpatine was still alive, and I don't mind him as the big bad, and I kind of like him as pulling the strings because that's who he's always been. But Rey Palpatine is just incredibly boring to me.
Mm-hmm. And to stick on this, and again, maybe this belonged in the Rey section. Like you, I am fine. I wouldn't have chosen to keep Palpatine in it, but like it makes a bit of sense, like you just said. Like he's always been pulling the strings and all of that. But again, making Rey a Palpatine was a lazy choice, and Rey is for me. Like I loved Rey. And then this happens, like, oh, well, she's not... I mean, she's still special, but, like, she's not just a nobody from some, planet in the middle of nowhere who, like, is a good person and has all these heroic qualities. She's magically the granddaughter of this guy that we already know, and this might be a spicy take.
Love a spicy take.
I was really upset, like, when I didn't realize that she was about to come alive again. But when she died, I was like... Or in retrospect, and I have had this spicy take about our main trio in previous films, like, looking back, I think that would have been an okay choice.
For her to have died?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I'm
I'm
glad she didn't die, but...
I mean, I'm glad she didn't die, but, like, I think it probably would have been good if she had. Like, or at least it wouldn't have been bad.
I would have been mad if Ben survived and she died.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
So, I mean, it would have taken a larger reworking of the movie. I'm glad she survived, but all her agency in it was taken away.
Yeah.
Again. No one in this movie had any actual agency. It didn't feel like they were making decisions that were based on their life experiences. It felt like it was all written for them.
I'm sorry, are you
like, you could see the strings so deeply in this movie.
Are you implying that there should have been more women involved with writing this movie?
Yeah, could we get a woman writing Rey ever? That hasn't happened yet.
We have a Wreck Roan horse.
Rebecca Roanhorse wrote her in Resistance Reborn. She's not a major part of Resistance Reborn, but she is in it, so that's fair. And she's great in it. But anyway.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That seems like a lot to ask, so we'll see.
Well, since we brought Kylo/Ben up, let's do this.
okay.
Ben Demption.
This was really the point for me where it felt like JJ was ignoring the fact that Last Jedi existed and just wanted to make his version of 8 and 9 into a single movie. Because if they'd gone into 8 with Kylo being legitimately conflicted and he was at the beginning of 8, but kind of stoking his conflicted soul and then having him turn and then having them all fight Palpatine at the end in 9, that would have been a story. That would have been something that made sense.
That would have been anything.
The entire point of 8 was Kylo embracing his identity as Kylo and letting the past die and fully embracing the dark side. And this movie said, JK, that doesn't count.
His mom died for him. To save him.
Fuck me.
So he's good now.
Listen, Leia died to save Rey, and I don't care what anybody else fucking says about it.
Why did Leia have to die to save anybody? Rey can take care of herself.
She shouldn't have, but at the point where she did, it wasn't for fucking Kylo.
Oh God, Jesus. The way I put it to a lot of people was I really liked a lot of parts of this movie. I really hated a lot of parts of this movie though, because like while I did not go into this movie with a lot of I really hope they do this or I'm gonna hate this movie, I did go in with a lot of nopes. And they hit every single one. Which was
big fucking nope.
Which was incredible to me. So, Ben Demption was a no. Leia being a Jedi was a no. Leia getting fridged was not even a thing that like showed up in my wildest dreams. The kiss, which we'll get to, and
Rose.
Yeah. Well, what happened with Rose is like a thing I did not necessarily think would happen based on the information we were given.
Mm-hmm.
And making like doubling down on the fact that Poe really, really loves titties.
We'll also get to that later.
Yes. But yeah, listen, Adam Driver is an incredible actor, and I think he, seeing the movie again, I think he did an incredible job just with his physicality and like his facial expressions and all of that in the transition from Kylo to Ben. I think he did so much with his body and his fighting style and everything else to, try so hard to make the audience buy into the concept that Ben could be redeemed in one fucking movie. But, God, like, what the fuck? Like, it's like a light switch happens. Like, he talks to Han, and he throws his lightsaber into the void, just yeets that shit, where I was sitting there like, you might need that okay, there it goes. And boom, he's good again. And it's just what the fuck?
Yeah.
Light switch is the exact way.
Yeah, this movie happens
to describe it.
in 24 hours, and I feel
16 because that's when the Sith fleet is launching.
Oh right.
It's 16 fucking hours.
This beginning of the movie, Kylo evil. Working for Palpatine, Kylo evil. Still trying to manipulate Rey, Kylo evil. Also, abusing her, like physically assaulting her through their Force connection multiple times, Kylo evil. Kylo on the Death Star, Kylo evil. Leia
Kylo,
says
yes.
Ben.
Kylo good now.
Mom? Sobbing, says ow, dies.
And like one of the big things about The Force Awakens is like I sense, like conflict within you. And like I feel like JJ was trying to touch on this then, but then the whole series just went into no. Kylo is evil. He embraces the dark side, all of this. And then suddenly he's like, I'm good now.
And I feel like, and there's two kind of schools of thought on this. One is that, like, yes, obviously we are taking away a different message from this movie than we took away from Last Jedi. The message of The Last Jedi is that actions have consequences and nobody is nobody.
This one is no mom, no rules.
Yeah, right?
Yo, literally, yes.
Like,
Fuck.
this one is you're back to your very classic, the light always wins. Like, doesn't matter how many times Kylo rejected the light, he can come back with no consequences because it's the light. Which is a Star Wars message.
Yeah.
That's a message we've had in the past. It's a message we had in Return of the Jedi. But that doesn't make it good.
But yeah, like,
Doesn't make it interesting.
Right, when he literally is about to tell, like, trying to, like, bust into Rey's head yet again in this movie during the fight on Kijimi, she literally says, "I don't want this." And he's just like, don't care, let's just keep going anyway. And then we validate that at the end with them kissing.
Yep.
What the fuck are we doing?
Yep.
Also, speaking of being unearned, the editor recently said in an interview that the kiss was added at the end. And boy, does it feel like it, because they do not build to that at all.
They spend 3 films trying to kill each other.
I'm so glad that it's 2019 and we're still having conversations about whether having gay people existing, not even in any sort of explicit fashion, is adult content, but heterosexual relationships are just so obvious that we don't need to actually write them into the script. They're just kiss for no reason.
Every conversation that they actually have is like pretty yikes.
They have not had a positive conversation in the past year.
No.
Undoubtedly.
Literally no. And also, like, you know, a popular reading these days of, you know, using the Force to bust into someone's mind is rape. How many times has Kylo, in that sense, raped her? Yikers.
With her explicitly, like, it's not even like a questionable consent issue. Not that consent is ever questionable because it always needs to be explicit. But to even accept that on face value, she explicitly tells him to stop multiple instances. It's exhausting. And it's, again, just unearned and bad writing. It is lazy writing. It is, you had this in mind as where you wanted to end up, and you didn't care about getting there.
Yeah. And if you want to have Bendemption, there's a way to write it. Like every issue with this movie, like, it would involve a lot of screen time of him, like, accepting that he has done a lot of really shitty things and, like, feeling remorse for that. But it, like you said, Kate, it's a light switch. It's like, oh no, I'm good now. Let's fight Palpatine and kiss. And then I'll save your life and die.
Yeah.
The end. Happy Star Wars.
Star Wars indeed.
Like, the point of TLJ was to set Kylo up as the big bad in this movie. And JJ chose not to go in that direction. And what we'll get into questions of quality in filmmaking versus enjoyment. But your job, stated by you, was to finish this trilogy and finish the Skywalker saga. And you ignored everything that was set up for this character.
He took a big ol' shit on it.
Like, you ignored everything. You ignored everything that existed with Kylo in Last Jedi, except that Snoke is dead. Other than Snoke being dead, this movie could have taken place after TFA. And I'm sorry, that's not what your job was. That is you doing a bad job. That is you making a conscious choice to do this and doing a bad job of storytelling. Like, regardless of whether you enjoyed it, you can enjoy things that are bad. Miranda likes Attack of the Clones. Like, it is objectively shitty storytelling. All right, do we want to go into the small things that we're laughing at?
Yes, please. Chris, you have several many.
I have so many small things. So, like, these are very much getting into, like, every Star Wars movie has stupid lines that we're all going to laugh at in 20 years, and, like, how do bombs drop in space? But
Oh my god, how do bombs drop in space? I'm gonna fucking kill myself
Like-
the next time I...
is it very much in that territory? Yes. Is it stuff that absolutely took me out of the viewing experience as somebody who is into Star Wars? Also, yes. The big one, Kylo flies to Exegol at the end, in a TIE fighter that's been underwater for 30 years that has no hyperdrive. Original trilogy TIE fighters don't have hyperdrives.
Yeah, I had a lot of, and like, just all of the TIE fighters had hyperdrives. Like in the beginning, when Poe is...
Well, First Order TIEs do have hyperdrives
Oh, do they?
canonically. Yes.
Oh, okay.
That is one of the reasons they're so much better than Imperial TIE fighters.
Never mind.
No, don't get me started on light skipping, because that was fucking stupid. But
Jesus.
But it's so just literally he should not have been able to get to Exegol, and they couldn't think of a better way to do that because again, it's just bad writing. Hux.
Oh, I put this one down. Hux is a spy, which, again, just to belabor the point I've been making all episode, I really like Hux as a spy.
Mm-hmm. And then he died.
But this is, I hate Kylo Ren. And then, like, he gets shot in the chest. And that's the whole story.
I mean, Hux is such a delicious character. They could have done so many great things with him. I don't even understand why, like, Allegiant General Pride needed to be a person when Hux could have been that.
Mm-hmm. Like, and, like,
Except to shoehorn another old white man in there, because why not?
Donald Gleason does such a good job with Hux, too, that I'm like,
God, I know.
I want more of it. And it's like, ooh, here's this interesting thing about me. Let's not explore it.
I know. It's just like,
I'm telling and not showing.
Yeah, that's all of this movie. That's the motto of this movie. I'm telling and not showing. I did love the scene at the beginning with General Hux. I'm sensing some apprehension over my appearance. The mask? No, sir. Looks great. Well done. just so dry and perfect.
so good.
And he's like, shoot me in the arm. Just a little bit.
And
I
didn't even mind him being a spy, and I liked the explanation of, I don't like you, but Kylo needs to lose. Like, that felt right and petty for him, but then it had no payoff.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that for him, but it felt just extraneous.
Yeah. It felt like, oh, he's a good guy now, so we should feel bad when he dies.
I didn't. My reaction again was, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Luke's X-Wing, which Chris just...
Luke's X-Wing is broken. It is broken in The Last Jedi. The door to Luke's hut in The Last Jedi is the wing of his X-Wing. It is missing a big section of its wing when Rey looks into the water. How is it magically repaired? Annoying.
Force Ghost Luke is working on it because he saw this coming.
Force Ghost Mechanic Luke.
Oh my god. I mean, Matt Martin, who is he's in the story group.
He's story group, yeah.
Yeah. He says there is an on-screen explanation for it, but we're gonna talk about quality of movement for a second. But like, I didn't see it, and I think that's an editing problem. Probably.
I was looking for it.
Yeah,
too.
Me too. And I think that's an editing problem, which I'll get into later. But so we just learned about all kinds of new things, planets, weird force shit, objects. And
I love weird force shit. Listeners to this podcast know that we are 100% pro weird force shit.
Orca agrees.
Right?
And, I do like the concept of a force dyad.
Yeah,
and
me too.
I think
it's cool.
If he had this idea all along, like maybe he should have communicated that better to Rian Johnson, so they could be like, oh yeah, there's a reason. Because like in The Last Jedi, that connection is explained by Snoke being like, I put you guys together so you can talk like this, and then JJ's like, it's weird force shit.
JK, these Skype calls are actually weird force shit.
And also, like, why do you need to call it a force dyad? Like, why do you need to name it? Like, you're going to name it and not explain it. It just felt so pointless.
Or
like,
if you want to name things, maybe you should name them consistently, like the fucking Sith Wayfinder.
Yeah. I did appreciate, and again, another tweet, I actually remember who tweeted it. It was Caitlin Plusher of the Sky Talkers pod, had a fantastic tweet about JJ, and this is a Sith Wayfinder story group. We actually have something like that. It's called a holocron. JJ, Wayfinder story group, but we have, because it helps you find your way.
Fuck me.
Like I laughed very long and very hard at
Oh,
that.
I think I saw that one. That was
It was
an A plus.
It was fabulous.
Very
It was
correct.
Yeah. But yeah, just like the dagger, Ochi existing, Exegol, like just so many things. This movie was all about things. It was all about new shiny things that you could be excited about, and new action sequences, and new force powers, and just like being cool and feeling great about this movie.
Wait,
and it didn't explain any of it.
Exegol, did you... Google says, did you mean Moraband?
Yeah. The other thing, it looks literally identical to Malachor
And it sounds like
in
a
Rebels. It
pain
literally
relief
looks
cream.
like it.
It's
Just again,
it's the galaxy far, far away is icy hot.
Oh my god.
it's and again, I don't need it to be Malachor to validate like my fandom, but it's just
No,
an
not Malachor.
instance-
We have Malachor. You mean Moraband, Korriban.
What do you mean?
Because we were on Malachor.
Not
this
in the movie.
Yeah, we were in this
I
movie.
thought that was
No, we weren't.
That was Mustafar.
That was Exegol.
Mustafar.
Mustafar.
That's my bad.
Sorry.
Also, they didn't fucking explain that they were on Mustafar.
No, they did
did
not. I had
Which,
alcohol.
again,
My bad.
because exposition doesn't matter. Like it would have made sense if he's looking for Vader's Wayfinder. Whatever. But like Force Dyad explaining anything about what it is other than, oh, you're a Force Dyad. Obviously, that means that you have life force that I can drain from you. Like, oh, Exegol. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't take anything away from the average viewer, but it's just an area that it would have been so easy to tie into the universe in the smallest possible way. And they just chose not to do it. And it's frustrating to me because this movie just feels like it was created in a vacuum, that the rest of the universe doesn't exist. And in 10 years, we'll look back and the rest of the universe will have built around it, and I'll feel better about it, and it'll be like the prequels. Because now I can go back and watch Phantom Menace and feel good about Amidala because of Queen Shadow, and feel good about Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan because of Master and Apprentice.
Love the prequels.
But
Miranda loves the prequels.
Miranda loves the prequels. But like, it's just conscious choices not to do things. Like, this movie was a series of choices, and I don't agree with any of them.
God.
yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about quality.
Can we talk
of-
about
Oh,
Planet
the last
Killers?
one. Sorry. Because the
Oh,
last one
yes.
was me. Could we stop
I'm
with
sorry.
planet-killing
Yeah.
weapons? They're so boring. All emotional impact of planet-killing weapons is gone. And, like, I like how JJ was like, well, we already had a planet-killing weapon in TFA, so let's just make more of them.
Yeah. And I will say, like, I think, like, he did a good job in TFA with it. Like, that is an emotional scene.
It worked for me in TFA.
But now it's like, what if we miniaturize this capability?
Miniaturized
Miniaturized
Death
Death
Star
Star
tech.
tech.
And just, like, yeet it across the system. We have that kind of, you know, manpower out
Yeet.
here in the unknown regions to just do this and create 10,000 little tiny Star Destroyers that are also Death Stars at the same time. Who says no?
Oh my god. I honestly I would not have hated the Sith fleet or any, like the fact that they were creating them, because we already know that all these things can be automated. We know that from the Empire's giant industrial war machine, and we even had that you know, during the Republic era with all the factories going on and things like that. But man, it just why was this necessary? It's just like, it's a very, you know, and I just had a thought, they could have tied it back to Operation Cinder, but they didn't.
Again, more opportunities that would have been completely easy. All JJ would have needed to do was go to the story group and say, hey, how can I work this in?
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't.
Yeah. And I do like the Sith fleet. Like, I like the idea that, you know, if we're gonna have Palpatine still alive, he's out there just, like, building this giant-ass navy. But then it's just like, oh, by the way, they're all secret Death Stars. Like, that just takes away from it.
Because why?
Like,
I
there's
just-
no need for it.
No, it's
Yeah.
it's, and also, you know, they were like, destroy a planet. Oh, there he goes, Orca. Destroy a planet that will hurt them. Kajimi.
Yeah. That,
Yeah, I have I have never had a less emotional reaction to a tragedy scene in Star Wars than that.
God.
Like, I really liked Kijimi. I think it's like my kind of planet, but I was like, we were there for 10 minutes. We don't know anything about it except that Poe's ex-lover is there.
I honestly would have
Whatever.
felt sadder if they destroyed Pisana because the natives seem nice.
Yes.
Right?
Like
Same.
a very pure sequence. That whole like celebration thing.
That was sweet. I like that part very much. But Jesus. All right.
Also, the let's get some holdo maneuvers going guy was just fucking stupid.
I wanted to die.
And it's that
That's
fucking,
like Star Wars breaking the fourth wall, and it did not work.
the unnamed dude, Dominic what's his fuck. Like, let's do
Yep.
the holdo maneuver. And everybody was like, you're fucking stupid.
And I was like, same.
Like, Holdo would not have stood for this.
Holdo would have beat that guy into the ground.
Holdo would have beat a lot of people to the ground in this movie.
Just remember, Amil and Holdo died so that, oh god, what is his fucking, he has a name, and it's like a stupid name too. Beaumont something.
God help
Beaumont
me.
Kin. His name is Beaumont Kin.
Excuse
He
me?
sounds like a rich
my-
white boy from the South.
If I
No
ever
offense
get
to
to
the
write a
South.
Star Wars,
Full offense.
Yes.
To white boys.
if I ever write a Star Wars, I'm killing him in on the first page.
Please do. Just
like-
not even for a reason,
No,
just to
just
kill
murder
him.
him.
Doesn't matter what the Star Wars is about. It's like we're gonna start on the planet that he's on.
And he's gonna die.
Bye bye.
And then we're gonna go back in time a million years or whatever the fuck
Yeah,
I'm gonna
exactly.
do with it.
But-
anyway.
Amil and Holdo died so that Beaumont Kin could take Rose's screen time.
Yep.
I'm gonna lie on the floor a little bit. Like, help. Please help.
Okay,
All
anyway,
right.
so quality.
Quality. So my first issue with this movie, and I felt this the first time, and I felt this the second time, was that the pacing was terrible. We visit, I'm not entirely sure how many places in the span of 2.5 hours, and therefore we do it very quickly. There's a lot of whiplash. We don't quite get as much of a feel for things as you were saying, Miranda, for various places, which is part of the fun of Star Wars is the world building and feeling immersed in it, and I did not feel immersed in anything because of the fucking whiplash. And, a thing that a lot of folks told me after I saw it the first time was that it flows a lot better when you see it the second time. And here's the thing with that. To a certain extent, I agree, because that it is the feeling I got. But I think the cause of that is because I already knew it was going to happen, so I wasn't, as much, just, literally whipping my head back and forth, just being like, where are we? What is happening? What is this? Mm-hmm. Familiarity is not flow. It's like, I will die on this fucking hill, because everybody is like, including Chris, is like up their own ass about, I don't want spoilers. Spoilers ruin everything. The fact that they're called spoilers. It has been scientifically proven that you enjoy a thing more if you already know what is going to happen. And that is absolutely what happened to me the second time. But even with that, things happened so quickly. There was the editing was so bad. The cuts were so fast. I could not see anything that was happening. Like, there were moments during that movie where, and I never do this, I had to lean over and be like, wait, Chris, is this happening because of this? And we weren't entirely sure because we had... everything went so fucking quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was just the whole first hour, or the first maybe half hour for me, was just like that. It was just like, remember all of these characters, look at them doing these things, it's exciting, but we're not going to tell you what's happening because it really doesn't matter. And then that only gets amplified when Poe is doing that fucking light speed skipping.
Oh my god, that was so...
It's like, this is too much.
It was a bunch. It was a
entirely
bunch.
pointless,
Who needs exposition?
And also doesn't
Just-
make sense.
Make things we want to go fast.
Yes. Also, according to this movie and Mandalorian, we can go to lightspeed from Atmo now.
YOLO.
Okay. I know, right? For real.
Don't need to bother with the calculations to not fucking die.
Or gravity.
Yeah, I want some Star Wars canon to just show somebody trying to go to light speed from Atmo and their ship just being ripped apart in the most visceral, brutal way.
But-
because that doesn't again, it's all fake and in space, but by the fake and in space parameters that you yourself have set, this doesn't work.
Listen, all I want, listen, if you're going to be up Ryan's ass about how do bombs fall in space, which actually has a real explanation.
It has two real explanations.
It has two real
Fight me.
explanations. And you're not upset by how the fuck do they go to Atmo? How the fuck do they go to Lightspeed from Atmo? Then you can seriously eat my ass. But anyway. All right, so I want to talk a little bit more about KMT and the immense disservice she was done in this movie. Listen, KMT has been done dirty by this fandom, by this franchise. Like, everyone is just like, we should do a show for Rose. And even, like, John Chu, who is the director of Crazy Rich Asians, who he has his own problematic little, circle over there, but we're not going to talk about that because it's not relevant right now. He's just like, absolutely, Disney Plus, give me the show. I will totally showrun it and direct it and whatever the fuck else. And I'm like, if Kelly Marie Tran wants absolutely nothing more to do with this franchise ever again and would rather yeet herself into space and die, I would not blame her.
Yep.
It's ridiculous. It's insulting. It's a very Anakin voice.
It's unfair.
And I could go on about this, but if you would like to read more about why this was so fucked up, our lovely friend Jess at Space Jess from Lousy Beautiful Town Pod, she wrote a wonderful essay for the Star Wars What Matters website about how Rose was just absolutely just, I don't know, it's just her entire like character and person was just fucking wrecked in Rise of Skywalker. Please just roll over there and read that. I'll link to it in the episode description as well.
J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio are racist. Pass it on.
Yep.
Don't care.
It's true. Leia's CGI felt extremely copy-paste. It was very awkward.
Look good.
I don't know, it, like, nothing about it flowed well. It really felt like she was being, like, just, like literally copy this scene that she filmed and, like, paste it into here, and we're gonna go with it.
In her first scene, she moves without walking.
Oh, God, really?
Yeah, like, the first time you see her.
I didn't notice that.
She, like, kind of, like, hovers across the screen.
Oh, no.
It doesn't look good. It's not done well. And it's amazing that in 2019, a blockbuster movie released with those special effects.
Huh.
Cats.
Well,
I did not realize that.
yeah, do you want to be compared with Cats?
Oh, yike. I did not notice that in the slightest. Now
It felt bad. And, like, again, I'm so glad we got TLJ. I watched TLJ this week, and it's amazing. But I'm so glad we got Carrie's performance in that to give us, even though that wasn't the Carrie-centric film that 9 would have been had she lived.
that we all wanted, yes.
Well, though, now I'm not sure I want JJ writing that film. But it gave us Leia in all of her glory, in all of her mistakes, in all of her exhaustion, in all of her forced leadership. And this movie gave us people talking around lines that were already delivered, and it was very clear and very obvious, and I think it was a disservice to the character and to Carrie. I don't want to say that. Ignore that.
Ignore which?
I was going to say something and I stopped myself.
Okay.
I'll cut that part.
Okay. Well, yeah, just agree to all of the above. I mean, I know it's an unpopular opinion that we have that, that Chris and I have anyway, that she should have been recast, but could it really have been any worse than this? Like, oh my God.
Should have got Meryl Streep. She would have done it. She and Carrie were best friends.
Put some makeup
Literally played Carrie in a movie.
Put some makeup on Billie Lourd and make her look older. Her character is very minimal in this trilogy.
I do think the Leia flashback, I think that was Billie Lourd.
Yeah, probably.
Being the body double, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
And doing the face CGI.
Yeah. But
it was bad.
All right. Chris, why don't you talk about the fucking berries and the puppets before we get into the more serious stuff real quick?
Oh yeah, just again, in area of stuff that is small complaints that like doesn't actually speak to it other than like how did somebody not catch this? On Kajimi, when they're fighting in the marketplace / Kylo Ren's quarters, there's a scene which is very visually striking of them like hitting a basket of berries, and the berries spill all over the floor of Kylo's white room. Next cut, no berries. Magical disappearing berries.
Maybe Rey
Force
got
berries.
really hungry.
Hang
Hang on,
Hungry girl.
snack break. So that was
The
dumb.
hungry girl.
Also, and I'm in the minority on this, stop using puppets. Stop using puppets for everything. They don't look good. Just do good CGI. Like, Bulio's fucking, like, Muppet mouth not matching up with his words. The fucking animal from the Muppet Show driving the sandcrawler on Pasana and going, okay. Like, it was so stupid.
Chris, please. Oh
I
my
don't
God.
want it. I don't want that in Star Wars. I realize that the Baby Yoda puppet is great and we all love it, and that's fine. And I realize that everybody's all about practical effects because that's how George Lucas did it back in the 1970s.
Yeah, but either
Stop
do it
it with
well
the
or
fucking
don't
puppets.
do it at all.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Sorry, that's my puppet rant. We're done.
All right. Yeah, Miranda, we want to talk about the queer content or lack thereof. What the fuck was that?
Okay, folks, listen. There's a lot to unpack here. To the point where I almost don't know what to start, but I think I'll go with the obvious, which is Poe and Finn. So first of all, like, obviously, if you're listening to this podcast, you know that, like, Oscar Isaac and John Boyega have been very vocally supportive of making that an actual thing in canon because they do, like, have very good on-screen chemistry. And it's,
Yeah.
like, it seems effortless. And I'm sure, you know, they're doing all of their hard work, but, like, it comes across as, no, these guys just, like, work really well together. They're vibing together. It's great. And there are so many fucking times in this movie where it would have been so easy for them to kiss. There's so many opportunities. Their faces get close. They're, like, having a conversation. Like, they've shown affection for each other throughout this trilogy despite barely knowing each other at first. And it's just unbelievable. Like, the actors are pushing for it. Oscar Isaac is telling anybody who will listen that he thinks they
God
should be
bless him.
together.
I love that man so very much.
He's amazing. And everyone at Disney is like, what if we didn't do that?
What if he didn't do that? Seems gay.
Seems
Listen,
a little gay.
they're just two bros having totally bro conversations with their faces an inch away from each other.
Oh
That's
my
the
God. And like,
conversation that I have. Love it.
and like, Oscar Isaac has made no secret that when he thinks about Poe and his character, like, he is playing Poe as being bi or pan or, you know, however you would like to identify that specific orientation. Like, he has said that.
Yeah.
That is his vision of the character, and I just...
And even beyond that, it's fucking space. It's all fake.
I know.
Like,
I just...
everybody can just be attracted to everybody else.
But Miranda, don't worry, because we got thrown a breadcrumb of these two ladies kissing in the background before they... it was like right before or right after they, like, super doubled down on the fact that Poe is very interested in pussy and only shows explicit interest in pussy.
Yeah, I'm really glad that we avoided the adult content in this children's movie by not including the existence of gay people, but we kept the scene of Poe propositioning Zori for victory sex.
Is that a problem, or? Like, they introduced this character just to be like, Poe likes women.
Just to be like,
literally.
no homo.
Yeah.
Exactly. That is literally her entire purpose, and it drives me
This entire movie is just a big
fucking
no homo.
insane. I know!
And also, so God, I don't know her name because she's not that important. But the blonde lady in the kiss, like,
Yes.
she had somewhat of a role in The Last Jedi. We weren't supposed to
Yeah.
like her. She was supposed to be like Holdo's little crony, and we didn't really know anything about like how they were actually formulating this plan. But she's always been kind of like, oh, you know, small and meek, and you know, against the interests of our heroes. And it's like, oh no, we'll make her gay. Give her.
And for all intents and purposes, she's a nameless character. Like, she has a name in canon. But for all intents and purposes, to 90% of the people seeing these movies, that was a kiss between two nameless characters.
Right. And like, I did notice this time around, her wife, like they gave her a couple of lines in the movie. Like she's a pilot, and when they're planning the trip to Exegol, she asks a question just to like put that little breadcrumb there as a treat.
And she's a person of color, and I like that definitely.
Oh yeah, and like that's the shit I want to see, but I want to actually see it.
Yes.
Not just as a throwaway cut at the end of the movie.
Right.
Like, oh, because didn't they like try to build this up like, oh, there's some representation in this, like,
yeah, like
they
just
will
like
find something that they like. And
JJ
was
talked
so
it up
much
like he's
like,
the goddamn second coming.
I know.
So I will
like,
say this: it is still like important to have that little bit. The first time that I saw this, I was sitting like next to this little teenage like couple that was these two girls. And like, you know, the kiss happened and they're like snapping for it, which is awesome. Like, we need to see it. However, you had a whole trilogy to do this. You had a whole trilogy with two guys with really good chemistry to do this. And like, you're doing this so you can like cut the scene, send it to China, make all your fucking money on the movie without showing anything gay. It's very disheartening.
It's insulting.
Oh yeah, it's
just insulting.
We've touched on this before, but like, there's so many layers to this, of like, you know, throwing that in as just like a token shot to be like, gay. It's like,
check.
Great, thank you for indicating that we're not people.
I know.
It was a very how do you do fellow queers moment.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
God, totally.
But it was, this is one of those things that, again, for me, like, I'm very much of the opinion that, like, if it doesn't matter for anything, it doesn't need to be included. Like, I honestly would have rather had that not be part of the movie. Because this is...
I think it was more upsetting for me to like have to expend energy getting mad about it, you know?
Yeah. It's like, just don't fucking include it. I might not think about it. Like,
Right.
I still will.
Or they shouldn't have built it up.
Because, like, you know, could have been a lot more gay. But...
They shouldn't have demanded credit for doing literally the bare minimum.
You know what that's
Yep.
called?
And that's like, don't fucking sugarcoat it. That's what JJ's doing by talking about it.
Yep.
By talking about how it's important to me that
All
everybody
Star
feels
Wars fans
seen in
see each
Star
other.
Wars.
Oh
You're asking for credit for doing the minimum, just like the Russo brothers did by having a nameless fucking character in a support group mentioning that his love interest was a man.
This, like, it veers way too close to queer baiting for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
like, there technically are queer people in this movie because they kiss, but also, no, that's not what this is at all.
Nope.
This is throwing a breadcrumb into, like, a pit of Wookiees.
Literally, yes. Oh my God. It really... That's perfect. That's what this is. Thanks, JJ. Feeling really seen right now.
He's a real ally.
All right.
He wears a safety pin when he goes outside.
Fuck me up. You did not just say that.
All right. So one last note on
wrap up
quality, and then I'll wrap it up.
To wrap up the bitch fest, yes.
So something I've talked a lot about on Twitter and on this podcast and this episode is things can be enjoyable without being good.
Wait, no way.
What?
And
For real?
again, for those who know me in person outside of the context of this podcast, the example,
First of all,
the
I'm
big
sorry.
example to me, yeah, first of all, that's really your fault at this point. You know what you're getting. But the example to me that is most pertinent for our society is Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Game of Thrones is a show that was very maligned by the end of its run. I argued at the time and still argue that it was never a well-written show. Again, that's a different podcast.
Your
But
mileage may vary with that opinion.
mileage may vary, but something could be good without being enjoyable, and something can be enjoyable without being good. And I understand. I'm not saying that people who enjoy this movie are stupid or have a lesser opinion of art than I do, because that's fucking stupid. If you enjoy something, you enjoy it, and I'm really happy for you that you enjoy it. But looking at the writing of this movie, looking at the direction of this movie, where it just felt like you were just getting hit in the head with information every scene, and there was no time to breathe. Looking at the editing, looking at so much of this movie, and looking at what the job of this movie was to continue Last Jedi and the Skywalker saga, this was not a well-made movie. Like, it can be an enjoyable movie. I will find things to enjoy about this movie and genuinely look forward to watching it for years to come and learning more about the stories, as we'll talk about next episode. But it was a badly created movie, and I'm really glad that JJ does not get to make more Star Wars movies.
Listen, I saw Knives Out, and I knew as soon as I walked out of that theater that I was like, Rise of Skywalker is probably going to suck for me.
Yep.
God, Knives Out's so good.
That's also just an incredible movie. Like
Knives Out's a really... Everybody go see Knives Out. Honestly, two of the best movies I've seen this year, Knives Out, which, fair, but also Ready or Not, great film. Everybody should go fucking see that on Netflix or wherever the fuck it is now. It was a shitty, campy horror movie about playing hide and seek, and it was amazing.
Wow.
Honestly, enjoyed it far more than I enjoyed Rise of Skywalker.
Hum.
All right. With that, this episode is incredibly long. That has been intentional so that people who don't want to just hear us shit on a movie they loved can ignore this one and then come back next episode. So thank you for sticking with us if you stuck with us. And let us know if you agree with us. Let us know if you disagree. Let us know if we have blind spots where something meant a lot to you and we just ignored it. We want to know. I want to find ways to enjoy this movie. Our next episode, we're going to be continuing to talk about Rise of Skywalker. It won't be 3 hours long, but we're going to talk about implications in the canon as we know it and what we want to see from the canon coming up. So we hope that you'll join us. We're also next week finally going to be wrapping up both of our remaining episodes on Thrawn treason. So we appreciate your patience with that as we've gone through the holidays. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Tumblr at BookWarsPod, bookwarspod@gmail.com if you want to email us, and rate, review, and subscribe to both us and the Tashi Station radio mega feed. It is the best way for people to discover the show and, see if they like our opinions on Rise of Skywalker, see if they hate us, and then, leave us shitty reviews, but, whatever.
Jesus.
If you have the means and you're so inclined, please donate to the Tashi Station Radio Patreon and give us coffee. It really helps us cover our hosting and production costs. That's ko-fi.com/bookwarspod. And when you do, we will post pictures of Porkchop, Orca, and Jasper on our Instagram.
Also, it's 2020, so we need to start thinking about Star Wars Celebration. If you would like us to make merch again, please definitely give us some fucking money.
Yeah, that costs money.
Thanks.
Our theme song...
Money, please!
Our theme song is Whiz Bang by Poddington Bear. Our logo and artwork are by Joby Terror Design. I'm Chris, for Kristen, who unfortunately had to leave, for Miranda and Kate. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Book Wars Pod, and we'll talk to you later this week.
Kristen took
Yeah, I was
a
gonna
phone
say.
when she left. That's where.
That's right. I mean, this